Hey everyone, I wanted to make a video about the Los Angeles fires. You may or may not know this, but I lived in Los Angeles for 18 years before I moved here to Northern California, to Santa Cruz. And I consider Los Angeles one of my homes. People were very kind to me there and generous, complete strangers, and supportive to me on a level like I never experienced before. You know, one of the things that caught me, because though a lot of my YouTube videos are about homesteading, I've been an artist my entire life. And in this country, it's a very difficult career because the majority of people, even people that have money, are not cultured, and they weren't educated to understand or appreciate the value or intelligence behind the art and creativity. So the other day, I called my friend in Los Angeles, and she's around my age, but she has a older, fragile husband. And I said, "Are you prepared?" Because people aren't prepared. And she had water because she listened to me about stacking up some water and wash water. But I said, "How about your daughter?" Because we're very close to the daughter too. And she's one of the kindest people you can imagine. She's just such a good American. And she works with education and children. And her husband is a scientist, so he doesn't make much money either. And they have 2 young daughters, both under the age of 6. And they just got their footing in the world. They got a nice little modest house across from a park in Altadena, California. And what I want to share with you is, if you were to go to her home, you do not see any indication of what happened, what happened with this fire. Like, they're not trees everywhere. They're not in a forest. It looks like a regular neighborhood. It is a regular neighborhood. And it's, medium income, hardworking, middle class people. And they basically lost everything. Their home burned to the ground. Now, a couple weeks ago, I've made several videos actually this winter because, like it or not, people, a lot of people think, especially people my age and older, that they don't have to worry about climate change because it's something so far off in the future. And what's ironic is my friend whose daughter's home just burnt down, she said the same thing. And I was trying to explain to her that no, all indications are, and I've been saying this for decades, and I have it recorded in my art. So when the world completely goes to shit, there's going to be some record of it left behind, because that's one of the highest purposes of art, is to record history. I want to show you something, because I've been showing you this. We have not had a winter yet. We have not had winter this year. We've had very little water. These are apple trees with the apples on and the leaves. Today is January 10th or January 11th. No, that's not normal. I'm going to show you more thing. Oh, my chickens are trying to brood because they think it's springtime. It's supposed to be the middle of winter. One of my chickens actually hatched 2 eggs last weekend. I tried to stop her, but she got ahead of me and it happened. But I'm going to show you something else. So these crazy, ignorant people that are taking advantage of the situation from other parts of the country to point the finger at infrastructure in Los Angeles. And, it's too soon. It's like calling someone an asshole right after they were diagnosed with cancer or right after they died. People in this country have lost all sense of goodness and civility. Right now we should be focused on taking care of people, because I know there's this weird movement right now to hate anyone who has more than you in this country. But the fact is, many of the people that were affected by that fire were just everyday people. As an artist, it really reminded me about how incredible and supportive the community is there, as I saw people on bicycles trying to escape with a couple pieces of art under their arms. Like, it's one of the few places in the country, maybe the East Coast and the West Coast, that still supports people like me. And values it enough to make that a precious thing to take with them as they're fleeing for their lives. Another thing, people in Texas and Florida are pointing their finger about California's infrastructure. Are you serious? Are you taking inventory about what has just happened in the last couple of years in your states? And what's the point? Why are we pointing at what happened instead of looking at what is so obvious, that things are changing faster than we can keep up with, and we are not prepared. I'm telling you right now, we are not prepared for the horrors of the future and the chain reaction, not just physically that these disasters will create, but economically. Another thing about Los Angeles, it's an economic powerhouse for the whole country through tourism and through the movie industry. So if you're going to say, oh, they're just a bunch of rich people and artists, well, I guess you don't watch movies. Where do you think most of your video games are designed at? Are you serious? You hypocrites? Also, to check you, California, everyone hates California. Personally, I think it's jealousy. I grew up in Ohio. A lot of my people, the people I grew up with, hated me just for getting out of my small town because, I don't know, maybe they're unhappy there and they just didn't have the strength to do the same thing. No one's stopping them, but they will hate you just for coming to California because it's the California dream. It's not easy, it's expensive, but that's what creates excellence here. Another thing, do you know, if California were to take this personally, your attack on it, what if we cut off your food supply? Do you know that the majority of your food comes from California? The majority of your technology comes from California. So that means you need to, if you hate California so much and you're so critical of it, you need to get rid of your computers and cell phones. And the majority of patents for new inventions are from Californians. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't hate on California, because we are doing the work for this country. We are doing the work for this country. If anything, you should be here volunteering and supporting California 110%. If you were actually an American, if you were actually part of the society, instead of separating yourself and in some biased, ignorant manner. Let me show you the second thing weird, because again, it's January 10th or 11th. I haven't checked the date. Blueberries in bloom in January. This one's completely dormant with flowers on it. Not normal. It's probably 70 degrees out right now. I could be in a t-shirt. Not normal. Usually I have 2 months that I'm allowed to rest and catch up with my reading and indoor house things and organizing. Look at my yard. I've had to mow already. I've had to mow the grass already. It should be raining here and everything should be dormant. This is not normal for me to have to be having to do these things that are spring chores, like pruning and mowing, in January. This is not this is not a conspiracy, people. I'm a real person. This is real time. This is something has changed dramatically, and it's changing at a velocity that no one is talking about. Tomatoes. These are tomato plants. And you know, if you garden, how sensitive tomatoes are and peppers to the cold. These should have been dead in late October, early November. I'm usually happy if it's like early November and I have tomatoes, and I can go all along here and show you tomato plants that still have not submitted. Now, most people, in their anthropomorphic ignorance, would say, oh, that's great, climate change, it's going to be warmer, I can wear my bikini year round, yay, humans. The problem is food. A lot of people are so disconnected from their food and how the earth works. This orchard is mostly stone fruit, apples, pears, apricots, things in that category. And stone fruit has to have between 300 and 400 chill hours in order to produce fruit. So if California is producing your food, your produce, and we're not getting cool enough for this fruit to produce, then do you see the connection here? And what's going to happen to all of our apples and pears and stone fruit? You know, what is going to happen? I know we have not had anywhere near even 200 hours below 40 degrees here. It has to be below 40 degrees, which isn't asking a lot, but that's how warm it has been. I could show you more, explain more, but if you don't get it at this point, if you're still stubbornly holding on to your opinion, your stance that this isn't real, I don't know what to tell you. And how do we expect the children, the younger generation who we're so critical of, to respect us, to respect tradition, and to respect civilities, and to respect us when we are doing nothing? Most people, especially if you chose to bring life onto this planet, you have children and grandchildren, and you're doing nothing. You know, we let the kids and the extra passionate people and the radical people do the marching and get arrested and take the criticism and abuse as we make Facebook posts thinking that we're some kind of goddamn heroes. Even if we start tomorrow, if everyone actually got it and we made the sacrifices that we needed to, it still could take 100 years or more to reverse the trajectory that we're in right now. So actually it is too late, but it's never too late. It's too late, but it's not too late. It's only too late when it's too late. And that's all I have to offer you today is this physical reality that I'm showing you right now. And my 40 years of growing things and being connected to the planet. I can show you artwork that I did that dates back to the late 1990s, 2000s, that I've documented climate change in my artwork. So if the world goes to shit, there'll be this physical record left behind. I did that. It's a very primitive, very Egyptian or Greek way of telling a story in a permanent way that will last tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of years. But I want you to have a discussion with yourself. I want you to have a discussion with your church. I want to have, if you are one of these people who believes in procreation and tradition, how can you focus on those traditions and belief in a God when you're allowing the very cradle, the creation, its home, the source's home, to be destroyed as you remain distracted or embedded in your own selfish survival? These are huge questions that we need to start talking about as a world community, and also with our families, with our friends, with our neighbors. Because I'm telling you, if you saw my friend's home that burned down the other day, it could be your home. It could be your home. And climate change is coming for you next.